Today I'm going to show you how to make chiffon cake pops and also little chicken chiffon cake in eggshells. Let's get started. Obviously, you'll need eggshells for this, so you can start collecting eggshells if you're planning to make this. Crack the tip slightly on one end, then start peeling it little by little. Empty out the egg. Rinse it and let it dry completely. To secure the eggshells in place, I'm using a mini cupcake pan. If you only have a regular size cupcake pan, it will work too. Crumble the mini cupcake liner, then place the eggshell into it. Another way is to use aluminum foil. If you're using a regular size cupcake pan, then you will just use more aluminum foil. Now let's make the cake. First, mix the oil and flour. This is just my standard original chiffon cake batter with a little tweak. First, combining the oil and flour is simple and won't develop gluten. You can stir it any way you want and you don't have to sieve the flour neither. Then add the milk and egg yolks. Stir until all well combined. Now we'll have to divide the batter into different portions to count them differently. The ratio is 1 teaspoon of egg yolk batter to 2 tablespoons of egg whites, so you can use this as a guide to divide the batter accordingly. I'll list the total teaspoon of batter in description below for each color. But if for any reason you have a little less or more batter than I do, don't worry too much about it. There are many reasons that can cause that. For example, the size of the eggs, slight differences in measurements, and so on. Just take note of how many teaspoons of batter you have in each color, then add the egg whites accordingly. A little off in the measurements will not affect the final result. I'm using very little bit of gel color for each because I prefer light colors. You can color them however you like. If you ever had store-bought cake pops, you'll know that they're usually super sweet. That is because they're made with sponge cake. In order to hold them together, they're mixed with either melted chocolate or buttercream, then cooked with a layer of chocolate. But that's not what we are doing today. These chiffon cake pops will not be mixed or coated with anything else, so they're still going to be light and fluffy. Now let's whip the egg whites. Add cream of tartar to the egg whites and beat on high speed. Cream of tartar can stabilize the meringue. If you don't have it, you can add a small teaspoon of lemon juice or vinegar instead. When you see big bubbles forming, add a third of the sugar. Continue to beat on high speed. When the foam becomes finer and silkier, you can add another third of the sugar. Continue to beat on high speed. The foam will continue to get silkier and you will start to see some trails. At this point, you can add the remaining sugar and beat on medium-high speed. Continue beating until you see some stiff peaks. After lifting the whisk, the meringue is stable and firm and the peak will not drip. Now let's divide them into each bowl of egg yolk batter. In the description below, you'll notice that we're using 3 egg yolks but 4 egg whites. This is so we'll have enough egg whites for each portion. It's hard trying to divide egg yolk batter and meringue equally. If by any reason you don't have enough egg whites at the end, it will still be okay. If you only want to make little chickens, then you will just mix all the egg whites with egg yolk batter. If you're new to making chiffon cake, you can watch any of my other chiffon cake videos to see how I mix them. Fold the egg whites gently until it's all combined. Transfer it to a piping bag. Since I'm making little chickens and rainbow cake pops, I'm reserving more for yellow color. Pipe each color into the eggshell one by one. Use a chopstick or toothpick to flatten it around slightly after each pipe. We want to fill it to about 3/4 full. Obviously, if you are only making the little chickens, then this step will be much easier and quicker because you just need to pipe once for each eggshell and that will be it. Place this in the preheated oven and bake at 320 degrees for 25 minutes. I don't have enough eggshells today, so I'm just baking the rest of the batter in cupcake liners. When done, let them cool off completely on a wire rack before peeling the eggshell. Now that they are cool, we'll remove the eggshell. Use a knife to trim off the top, then crack the eggshell with a spoon. The eggshell is much harder now after they were baked in the oven, but the cake inside is still very light and airy. If I just crack this by hitting it on the counter, I will have to hit it harder, and doing that may also tear my cake, so cracking it with a spoon is a safer way. The cake is going to stick on the eggshell, so when peeling off the eggshell, we have to do it slowly and carefully. If you have a flat silicone knife, you can use it to help getting the eggshell off. If your cake pop surface is too uneven, you could trim it around with scissors. Also, since the cake is very soft and airy, you can squeeze it and roll it around very gently. It will also make it slightly rounder. As for the little chicken, we'll keep the top part without trimming it because this is perfect as the comb of the chicken. Use a knife to crack a line somewhere in the middle because we're going to keep part of the eggshell for this one. Now we'll assemble it. I melted some semi-sweet chocolate and put it in a piping bag. Use a toothpick to wiggle some room inside the cake, then pipe some chocolate in there. Insert the lollipop stick. Not only that the chocolate will add a different flavor and texture to the cake pop, it also helps securing the lollipop stick in there. Now for the little chickens. Pipe 2 dots of chocolate as the eyes. I also melted some candy melts to pipe the beak. For the finishing touch, I'm going to use some powder food color to color the cheeks and the comb. If you don't have powder color, you can just use gel food color and dilute it with a little bit of water. And this is now completed. Thanks so much for watching.